external organizational environment is comprised of all things external to the organization that could impact it. It is the context that a company's internal environment must work within and respond to. Environmental conditions are volatile and subject to change without warning. Managers who are unprepared to dynamically adapt to changes in the external environment may find themselves woefully behind the curve in relation to their competition. A keen awareness of the industry, market, trends, demographics, and burgeoning technologies is important, but only part of the equation. The tremendous opportunities that spring from globalization are balanced by the need to remain vigilant of changes in the societal, political, and natural climates of the world at large. The leadership of Caterpillar Incorporated knows this well. As a true global player with operations in 40 countries, Caterpillar has positioned itself not only as a market leader, but as an ambassador of goodwill and social responsibility. The policies that spring from within their internal environment address the external one and aspire to transform it for the better. The external environment melds two chief components, general and task environments. The general external environment refers to the overarching factors which indirectly affect organizations in every sector: the explosive growth of technology in the workplace and at home, population demographics, the economic climate in which the organization operates, the myriad laws, regulations, and external politics that govern corporate behavior. All the preceding elements factor into the international component of the external environment, which has become progressively more influential in the last century. While globalization has yielded exciting new opportunities, operating outside the boundaries of the country requires up-to-date knowledge of the laws, politics, and social mores of other nations.
We have become very familiar with how to do business in China, though the landscape continues to change. There is a dichotomy in China between the strong capitalistic spirit of the Chinese people, who understand how capitalism works and understand the value of private enterprise. You then have the Chinese government that still wants to maintain control over the economy. What we as a company have to do is find ways of navigating through the private enterprise and the very strong central government control within China.
The task component of the external environment is unique to each organization. It includes the sectors that directly impact and influence day-to-day operations: customers and competitors, suppliers of raw materials and components, the labor market, and partnerships between organizations. The internal environment refers to all of the elements that fall within an organization's boundaries and is driven by its corporate culture. The corporate culture is the sum of the sociological markers and behaviors of those within an organization and the degree to which it is in alignment with an organization's core values. Though it can be a powerful driver of success, it is difficult to quantify. When trying to get a handle on the state of a company's corporate culture, there are several hallmarks of fundamental organization-wide values to look for. Among them are the symbols, heroes, slogans, ceremonies, and stories that embody these values and galvanize members of an organization.
My favorite story, and the depiction of it is simply a school bus. But it is a project that we've undertaken with the U.S. government and provides really the template for work that we're going to be doing through a multinational program entitled Embark to clean up transportation. This particular project involves retrofitting school buses, older buses with older technology engines, retrofitting them with the kind of technology that substantially eliminates pollution coming from the buses. So here, the very youngest to high school students will soon be riding in buses that are much, much cleaner and approach the standards that society expects of currently produced engines.
Our values are as foundational to everything that we do. This helps defines how our employees, our dealers, and our suppliers are going to help us contribute towards achieving our Vision 2020 and our success. Without those four values of integrity, commitment, excellence, and teamwork, it is impossible for us to achieve those visions and goals. And as a result of achieving our 2020 and 2010 sales and revenues goals, we also will achieve our bottom line profit, because you have to start with those sales goals and objectives. It is fundamental for our achieving our level of expected profitability to have people believing in, supporting, and living more critically, living those values. We used, starting with our chairman and CEO, Jim Owens, and his direct report, whom we call group presidents, teaching the values to the senior level managers in the company. That then, those senior managers were then asked specifically to teach those values to their organizations, and we cascaded that throughout the whole entire organization. The same process we used when we presented our values to our dealers and suppliers. Started out with our chairman and CEO, Jim Owens, providing what the values mean to Caterpillar and how important they are. So teaching is a critical element of the success of that values, but equally, if not more importantly, walking the talk. And when people see how you behave, how you act under certain circumstances, are very critical for them to believe that these values really mean what they are.
In a general sense, the type of corporate culture a company has can be broken down into 4 categories. An adaptability culture is flexible and focuses on responding to the environment dynamically. An achievement culture highlights individual performance and creates a competitive environment in which participants strive to be stars. An involvement culture, conversely, seeks to level the playing field in the spirit of cooperation and equality. A consistency culture emphasizes staying the course, favoring methodology and order. While aspects of each are likely to manifest to varying degrees within an organization, one type invariably embodies the core values more than any other. Although a company's corporate culture ultimately lives and breathes at all levels of the organization, cultural leadership is essential to setting expectations and leading by example. The management at Caterpillar articulated their vision to employees most recently in the form of the CAT Manifesto.
Beginning the concept work on the campaign was really pretty difficult, because we wanted to have and we needed to have a campaign that would resonate in China, would resonate in Europe and Latin America, and in the United States. So we had to first of all come up with themes that would be easily translatable. The world in progress is the overall thematic. As we got into the campaign, we then began looking at what would be the memorable tagline, some parlance, the slogan that would accompany that campaign, and that's how we then came upon today's work, tomorrow's world, a measure of what our products are doing in today's environment and how they will translate into a better world tomorrow. So those were the basic thematics, and then obviously you get into the hard work of deciding how to translate those messages into specific stories that will resonate in the areas around the world where it would appear. First question we had to answer in terms of the manifesto was, how do we put it in the hands of all of our employees? The easiest thing to do would have been to email it or to put it in newspapers. What we decided to do was to personally deliver to each and every employee around the world a copy of the manifesto. We translated it into 11 languages. Now, obviously, we couldn't appeal to every language, 50-some dialects in China alone, but we did the 11 basic languages and had it either handed to or put on the desk of each and every employee, and then we selectively ran that same thank you note in newspapers in communities where our employees work, a way of personally saying thank you to each and every one of them.
A clearly articulated vision from an influential cultural leader, supported by a management team that walks the talk, promotes organization-wide buy-in. An organization with a healthy internal environment is better prepared to face any challenges the external environment can throw